So last episode, we broke down the inexplicable decisions, yes, by the New York Knicks to stand pat at the trade deadline. No one knows why. No one. Since then, shit has continued to go off the rails. On Saturday, Knicks blow a 23-point lead in the second half to my Blazers, getting outscored by 35-11 in the fourth quarter. We talked about that on Monday. How it's possible to score just 11 points in a quarter against one of the worst teams in the NBA defensively is a mystery to me, beyond me. And then against the trash-ass Oklahoma City Thunder, bottom two team in the league, missing their two best players, by the way, in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Lou Dort, completely out of the game. They blew an 11-point second-half lead and lost in overtime to the, again, Oklahoma City Thunder with no Shai and no Dort. How, Sway? How? I don't know. And, oh yes, Tibbs tried to call a timeout late in the game and got teed up because he pulled a Chris Webber. Did not have a timeout, which is a bit of a problem. It's a Mike McCarthy situation here, folks. Like, what are you doing, my guy? And that was a bit of a problem considering that was a tie game at the end of regulation. And then, last night, they were up 28 points against the Nets. Yeah, net 28 at the crib to the Brooklyn Nets, only to lose handily to a team that did not have Kevin Durant, that did not have Kyrie Irving, did not have Ben Simmons, did not have, of course, James Harden because he's been traded. Cam Thomas, 27th pick in the draft, went absolutely bananas, shooting tween from 30, step back, no defense on Cam. He had 16 points in the fourth quarter alone. It is officially a sweat, a panic at and within MSG. Not only as the Garden, as the umbrella, as the corporate structure that owns the Knicks. This team is 3-13 in the last 16 games, sinking down the Eastern Conference standings. Everyone is struggling, from Evan Fournier, who, like I've always been saying, shows up once every 3 games, to Kemba Walker, who's consistently in the doghouse, to Emmanuel Quickley, who over his past 17 games is shooting just 26.8% from the field and 23.9% from 3. How bad is this, you might ask me? Well, bad enough to write multiple segments on them in a week, but old man Thibodeau, who is wed to running his starters out there 40 minutes plus a game, has just said he is committed to playing the youth, to going with the youths. He said this: we've got a young team that can get better, and that's where we have to concentrate. Get these guys better. Look, Mitchell's development, R.J. Barrett's development, Quentin Grimes' development, Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, that's where our focus is, right? And Julius is still young and can still grow. Sure sounds like this is now a wrap for the season. When you're talking about the youths and developing the youths, especially when your name is Tom Thibodeau, whose like basic ethos for coaching is fuck them kids. Like, I'm running out Taj Gibson. I'm running out D Rose in crunch time. When he's talking about Quentin Grimes, who's a very good young player, but he's talking about the youths in a way that is completely counter to his identity as a coach. And that's how you know the season is cooked. It's a wrap. He's literally like, all right, we're going to just see who we have here. See what we have. Notice he didn't say Cam Reddish at all in that mix, who they traded for. This year is now all about assessing who can be the future instead of who is here that can help you right now. Because it's very clear no one's here that can help you right now. Otherwise, they wouldn't be 3-13 in their last 16 games, and they wouldn't have blown 8 straight 20-point game leads. You know? And so now all of this has been fodder for the New York papers to sound off on what's the deal with Tibbs. Is his butt medium hot, super hot, burning? Is he almost out the door? What's happening? This is the man, folks, who is your 2021 Coach of the Year. How could he actually be on the hot seat? Well, is he actually on the hot seat? I don't know. New York Post seems to think he might be. In my viewpoint, it's the Post. Anyway, in my viewpoint, well, considering Tom Thibodeau is on a 5-year deal. He got hired to a 5-year deal right when he was brought on board. Immediate. He is there, under contract, getting paid, unless he gets fired for cause through 2025. And Dolan, not a huge fan of having multiple guys on the books at the same time. Just simultaneous guys on the payroll, he's not a huge fan of. One thing for sure, though, nothing is a certainty in this business. Just ask the Brooklyn Nets whether they thought James Harden would blow this thing up in less than 12 months' time. Which is now how you know things are bad, how you know that anything could change at any given moment with this club is that we're now getting Derrick Rose injury updates about the fact that he's coming back right away. He's here. He's coming back right after All-Star break, folks. Everything's okay. Once D Rose is back, he's going to right the ship. I was like, that's a strange time to put out an injury update on a guy we haven't heard about in the last 3 months. Have not heard one peep, and now it's like, D Rose is coming back. He will be back. Should Tibbs be the one that is primarily held responsible for the Knicks' issues? Probably not. Who should be held responsible for the issues of the Knicks? Well, that is a longer discussion for another day, and I don't have that time right now. We've got to give the Celtics their flowers. And that's the next segment, folks. That's where we're headed.